we're back, my lady.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected. You mustn't have run into any trouble then. Well, how did it go? What did you come up with?
Actually, we're still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something strange.
I see. The clues you found have led you back here, in the city?
Something like that, yeah.
You all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all. Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up?
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much about me being upset with my father or anything like that. How should I put this?
So something is wrong. Even the Traveler and Paimon have been uncharacteristically quiet. On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile and shouted, "Dunyarzad, we're back!" So tell—
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell you next. It concerns the Master.
The Master? Okay, I understand. My father has been supplying goods to Dakan al-Akmar?
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
I can't help but agree with the Traveler.
Huh? You mean you feel the same way, Dunyarzad?
Thank you for sharing all this information. Since you've told me everything you know, I should also tell you about some doubts that I've been harboring for quite a while. In the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dia?
About that. Well, the Homayanis really needed bodyguards, so they reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to become one of his bodyguards. He offered me a pile of Mora, so I just—
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it. Why did my father specifically reach out to the Blazing Beasts?
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe some— I think I get what you're saying. You'd think none of this—
Precisely. At first glance, nothing seems strange or out of place. But there are many parts of the story that, if my father had always been in contact with Dakan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dia into our house.
You mean the goal all along was to get Dia to be your bodyguard?
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over me.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
Sorry we put all this on.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be— Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a—
But is that real? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to it. However, the Homayani if we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire—
Dia.
It's all right, Dia. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say—
You don't have to do that, my lady.
Hey, it's still too early to give up hope. What was the thing about friendship again? Right, yeah, trust! Besides, there's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts.
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. In which case, my lady, could you ask the Master to come out and have a chat with us?
Sure thing. I also hope he'll be able to give us—
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the Traveler, and next to her is her travel companion, Paimon.
Ah, yes, my daughter has mentioned them from time to time. It's a privilege to finally meet them in person. But we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter you wish to discuss with me today?
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
So, that's what you found. Huh. Seems like I can't keep everything from you much longer.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. What I do know, though, Dia, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will likely cause you a great amount of anguish.
Wait, me?
Yes, I understand perfectly why you came to see me. And I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price. And sometimes, as they say, ignorance is bliss. Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you. The facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind. If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind like a fleeting mirage.
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow. I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people in I came here today to support...
I understand. Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when Dunyarzad was just a baby. Along the way, we were attacked by bandits. They had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. When all seemed lost, a group of passerby Eremites lent us their support. Those Eremites were Kusela's brigade, Dekhan al-Ahmar. Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. I was shocked. Why would Dekhan al-Ahmar go so far to save us and not spare the fellow Eremites? Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyarzad. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Really? I never knew.
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father. To repay his kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time, and offered everyone generous remuneration.
So, that's what happened.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door. The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition. He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about and that he had gotten into a fight. That was all. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyarzad, now that she had grown, would need a bodyguard of her own. At the time, Dunyarzad was going through a particularly severe bout of her Elazar. There was no need for her to have a bodyguard when she could barely leave the house. But he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe. How do you know a bodyguard won't come in handy one day? I was completely lost at first, until he recommended the Blazing Beasts, and in particular, a mercenary named Dia.
So he was the one who recommended Dia to you.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually corrupt every member in their ranks. He was already beyond redemption, but He hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the vicious world of mercenary life. If Dia could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity for the desert would decrease, and she'd be able to leave her previous life behind.
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for that favor, I also began to see Dia as my own daughter. And that's also why I tried to persuade you to stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to spend however much it took. Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert. I could never refuse him entrusting his daughter to me.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dia's fees. I refused to take any mora from him, but he'd always said. Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude. The letter contained a request to help him buy food.
Wait! Isn't that around the time that Takano Akhmar started becoming more aggressive?
That's right. When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became wary. But by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had to guess, it's probably because he doesn't want to put Dia at risk. That thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me for help because he had nobody else to turn to. After some deliberation, I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down all his requests for explosives, and I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could lead to others coming to harm, but in the end, it probably was the wrong decision.
If you can, please tell me where he is now. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world. If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the...
Oh no, Dia...
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions. Another way? I don't know. I knew him, and he was nothing more than a childish brute. I can't understand, but I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need...
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between... I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. Outside of supplying his brigade with some goods, I tried my best to avoid... However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and is now a member of the Corps of... He's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Dakan al-Akhmar's merchant caravan. I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy...
Understood. Thank you, sir.
I'll stay and be with my father here. To be honest, my father has indeed done something wrong, but if I think about it, I'm also not sure if there was... I feel like our only course of action is to turn everything we know over to the Corps of 30.
Yes. I am prepared to accept. It's time to...
Huh? Who are you guys?
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps. Pretty bold, if you ask me.
Shh. Keep your voice down. How do you... Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to... This place should do. All right. Back to my question.
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the...
Wait. There's no need to jump the gun. Let's talk this out.
So what's in it for you?
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time, and Kusela took good care of me in the past. I weighed it in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor, but I could also make some quick...
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Dakan al-Akhmar, and we're gonna put an end to the... If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good...
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little...
Shut it. My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something up...
All right, sheesh. But they're always on the move. Here, feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you, though, it's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can...
Hey, come on. Now you're just being...
Really? And how do I know you're not leading?
All right, I get it. Why don't you go take a look?
Now that's more like it. Let's move. And as for you, try to stick around the city until we get back. Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves. I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Tia, why are you here?
Not now.
Illusion shattered! Torn to oblivion!
My guiding star.
Boom boom! Time for your arraignment!
Hold the line.
Buckle up!
Not now.
Where do you think you're going?
Let's get it up! Haven't you all done enough?
So are you also here to stop us?
Stay out of this. It's got nothing to do with you.
Shine down! You're dead meat! Look alive!
She's so strong.
Enough fighting. We all know each other, and I don't want to just bring Kusela to me. There's... Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do...
All right, everyone, let's all just calm down for a second. Dia, the boss can't come out and see you anymore. He died a long time.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best, though. At least, that's what the old man wanted.
When did he die? What happened to him?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Ahmar and went to the Deshret's Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret's Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
Let me start from the beginning. Dia, do you know how the head of the Relics maintained order internally?
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. But just those on their own weren't enough. They had another tool at their disposal. They called it a person's record. Regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced, every person in Deshret's Relics were forced to leave a record of themselves at headquarters. Whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit, the record served both as a symbol of loyalty and the perfect material for blackmail. That's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. Me, Bashar, Tikriti, and all the boys who grew up with Dia and ended up joining our ranks. But you, Dia, you were never asked to provide a record, were you?
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of Deshret's Relics who didn't know about it.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to shield you from this organization's sinister rules. Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. He said he'd take care of the dues we had to pay regularly to headquarters. But in the end, he was just an ordinary person. What could he do? He was forced to go to headquarters again and again to account for missed dues and incomplete records. He'd come up with all kinds of excuses, and get beaten up as a result.
We all knew he was doing that for you. He wanted to get you out of this world, no matter what it took.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't walk without a cane.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this, and I'd never seen him get injured or beaten.
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from a beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age by a decade overnight. Even his hair went gray.
So, even the blazing beasts were...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged them to come to you, you probably would have been reduced to a pulp before you ever left the desert.
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. He was already pretty weak then, and we all assumed he was going to get... I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me, but he said there was no longer any need. Since the Khan al-Ahmar, his words made no sense to me. But that night, we heard that a massive fire tore through headquarters and razed everyone's records to ash.
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members fled, not just from our ranks, but from the other brigades as well. But how could we leave with a clear conscience? All of us who knew exactly what had happened.
The boss can't have just died for nothing. Those heartless jerks at headquarters took him from us.
From that point on, the sole purpose of the Khan al-Ahmar became revenge. The big fire that Boss started was quite a blow to headquarters' strength. It's given us the opportunity, even though we're outnumbered. We vowed to see our revenge through to the very end. There were people from headquarters who changed their names and went into hiding. Some fled to other brigades, and others escaped to the rainforest. But we won't let any of them escape our wrath. They'll all pay for...
We've suffered plenty of losses as well. To keep going, we need an enormous amount of supplies. All we can do is exchange our loot from Mora, and then use that to get... We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out many letters to his former friends. Thankfully, we were also able to attract many mercenaries who shared our goal. We've endured Deshret's relics have become weaker and weaker, and now we...
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. We do not deserve the freedom that the boss won for us with his life. Boss always loved his old-fashioned hero stories. Those tales, we used to always laugh at him for it. But in the end, he really went and lived those stories out himself. As for me, I never considered myself a hero. We're all the lowest of the... But maybe those hero stories he liked foreshadowed everything that was to come. Maybe we were all just acting along with the play in the beginning. But I'm sorry, Dia. I know you always found us insufferable ever since you were young. Just think of this as a madman rant.
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dia?
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that all I know is that Deshret's relics must... Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
Yeah. Paimon feels like we'd only regret it if we don't see this through to the end.
Thank you. We'll be a lot
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you.
Considering all the losses and injuries we sustained, we can't afford to turn down someone.
He can think whatever he... But the fact is...
Wow. Paimon didn't expect it to look like this.
They should all be holed up in here. Don't know.
Who cares? We'll round up...
Still, we should be careful. Even if they've only got one shot left, it could still take us out.
Yeah. We'll know what they're really capable of once we've landed some... Deshret's relics may have been a force to be reckoned with before.
Yeah, They don't stand a chance with you.
Happy to oblige. Buckle up.
You are not welcome here.
Illusion shattered.
The night is cold.
Incinerate.
Hold the line. Still.
Where do you think you're going?
Let's get it on.
How regretful. I'll take a new punching bag.
Not now. Don't be scared. Inadmissible evidence.
Inazuma shines eternal.
Taurus, bring refuge.
Gloves off.
I'm getting sick of this.
No more tricks up your sleeve.
Look alive.
This way, follow me. We're almost there.
Wait! They went charging ahead without checking for any trap!
Hey, you guys okay?
It seems like we just got trapped.
Watch out, the enemy's coming from ahead.
Well, now that things have come to this, seems...
Don't worry about us. We knew something like this could happen. Go and take a look around. Let's go! We can't let the boss stab.
Let's check if there's another way! The sooner we can make it through to help them, the better.
Let's see. I think I see a way through over there, but it's being blocked.
Okay, let's go! Allow me! The night is cold.
Boom boom. There is no escape. Let's get it on.
Another mechanism like the one before, but this one's being blocked off in the middle.
We just need to adjust it a little. Hold the line! Stars, shine for me. My guidance...
Time for your arraignment. Motion. Shine down. Now you shall perish. There is no escape! You're dead meat! Shine down!
Not now. Don't be scared. Allow me. Covenant of the Deep.
There is no escape! Buckle up! Shine down!
Incinerate. Breath of the flame. Rest and rebuild. Allow me.
There is no escape!
Cold. Learn to command. The night is cold.
You asked for it! Look alive! Ha!
I wasn't expecting anyone to make it through from the other side. But as a desert dweller, I suppose we should be used to our folks defying all
Don't waste your breath. You have no...
Run. Had I witnessed the golden age of Deshret's relics. Even if I could leave this place behind, all that awaits me now are endless days of Even now, my brothers and I still believe in the greatest should never live to remember their...
So you want to go out in a
Let us draw our weapons! We will show them the true power King Deshret bestowed upon his... They are but two, while we... Wave 1! Charge! Eliminate them!
Buckle up! Hi! Illusion shattered!
Billowing surge.
Boom! Shine down!
My guiding stars.
Where do you think you're going?
Incinerate.
Happy to have...
Don't think that you've won. You're just getting started.
Inadmissible evidence. Motion to compel.
Gloves off! Kusela shines eternal. There is no escape.
How? King Desperate will not abandon any one of his followers.
I'm refuge! Allow me!
Shine down.
Now you're testing my patience.
Bring it!
Will.
How? Brothers! With me, this is where we'll prove our faith.
Do you all just want to die?
None of us plan to leave this place alive!
Raise the storm!
Come in. The night is cold.
There is no escape. Where do you think you're going?
Rebuild!
Torn to oblivion. Goodbye, but we'll meet again. Shine down.
Billowing surge! Not now. Motion to compel.
Buckle up.
The golden slumber.
The commander has finally fallen.
But they're still coming at us! This place is like a gladiator's ring. They just keep coming no matter how many we beat!
Yes, keep fighting! There's no need to
When the next wave comes, try to draw. I'm going to see if I can take out that high platform.
Get out of my way!
Come and face me, Michel! Ugh, so they've broken through the front as well.
Apologies, Lord Michal. They fight like absolute madmen! No matter how...
So, it would seem...
Time to pay for everything you've...
You think I will be buried in the sand?
Hey, wait!
We were too late.
It's over. There's no more. But if you're still going to cling on to your so-called mercenary's pride, then I'll give you all a good.
Hey, dear! I found the mechanism. I'll get you all back up here right away.
Let's go.
Who are you filthy rats? And why are you always
You call yourself a member of the infamous.
Who knows what intent a bunch of rats may have? We try to catch a couple, and you all just show up on the other side instead. Hey, have you ever heard of a man? Why would I know? It's not like I'm in charge.
This is your.
Hey, I said I don't know anything. If you're here to find someone, why don't you look through the records yourselves? Who can remember every...
The irony. His life became a light for so many, yet to... Where's the records room?
It's right over there.
I mean the old...
The old records room? You mean, the one that got burned down? Kusela. Ah, yeah, I remember him. Watch your mouth. That's our boss. He was definitely faking it. We all let our guard down as soon as we saw him come hobbling in. But in the short time it supposedly took him to take a dump, he'd already gotten away. He couldn't have possibly outrun us if he wasn't a fraud. And after that, Deshret's relics fell...
Stop wasting our time. Every one of us... Tell me.
It's just over there. Go see it for yourself if it... There's nothing left... Bashar, Tikriti, let's go. We'll leave the others here to guard these guys. Spare them no mercy if they try.
So, this was his final destination. How did he do it? Getting past all the guards with a limp and sneaking in here to start a fire? If he was nimble enough to do that, then he must... I'm sorry.
Is this a cane? It must be the one that...
Kusela.
Thanks for everything, boss.
We're fortunate to suffer.
Let's split up and look around.
But what else could survive a fire like that?
Huh? So,
Wait! Isn't that the toy sword you played with as a child?
The dragon is no more, for Princess Dia has slain it. Its head now hangs above the city gates. Her bravery has brought eternal peace and prosperity to us all. Dia, come on. This is the most important line.
You can do it.
But Dia, you defeated the dragon. Everyone's waiting for your speech. Still too shy, huh? All right, I'll do it. I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more.
I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more, Dad. What's this?
Don't you remember? You asked Paimon what she would do if she were to wake up tomorrow with loads of money. And Paimon said that she would get boatloads of tasty snacks. You looked super confused at the time, but said it was an adorable These opportunities don't come by often. So today, Paimon's gonna treat you to a special crash course on Paimon's life philosophy. Hey, come on! Paimon's not that stingy. Anyway, the point is that you should eat to your heart's content. You'll feel better for sure once you've gotten something in your tummy. Junior Azad will also...
Aw, thanks you two. Honestly, This is very unlike me. I just had a lot on my mind on our way back, so my chest was filled with all kinds of intense emotions. They just shook me even more than all the feelings we've shared during our previous adventures. But when everything came to an end, those emotions also vanished with. It was as if I'd lost the thing that was most important to me. Yeah, you're right. To many mercenaries, Mora is the most important thing in the world. Idrisi and the others all used to say that they would quit if there was no Mora to be had. But when it came to avenging my father, there was no Mora to be made anywhere. My reality shattered when I found out that the father who always told me hero stories was in fact a bad guy. But look at me now. Despite all my... We're hypocrites. All of us. Yeah, you're right. It's just a pity that we often only recognize our true feelings after it's already too late.
You're back! Are all of you all right?
Ah, there she is.
Yeah. Many people from the Corps of 30 came over, and I just wrapped up everything with my dad. All I can do now is wait for... Huh? Dia?
Paimon will explain. A lot happened while we were gone.
I'm sorry. I really should have controlled...
It's all right, my lady. You were hurt by all of this as well. Truth be told, I'm starting to feel a little guilty watching you cry like that.
Dia, oh, your pain...
Hey, don't worry about me. If anything, this whole thing has finally shown me the difference between illusion and reality. My father probably thought that people could settle into new lives as long as they moved to a new environment. That thought has even crossed my mind a few times. It's like saying, what's wrong with adapting to a new life? However, there was always something deep within my mind that refused to accept it. This impulse brought me great turmoil, and even made me feel ashamed for turning my back on your father's kind. But now that I consider it again, it all makes sense. The desert sands are a part of who I am, and
I understand how you feel.
That doesn't mean I won't be making any changes to my life, though. As an it's just like Idrisi said. I also want to catch up to my father and become a character, even if the ending of the story may be childish and ridiculous.
Isn't that neat, though? Oh, you'll be a whole new kind of mercenary, one that's not... Why don't we go for a change of scenery once we finish eating?
Right. You said you wanted to get a rug for your
We'll come along too.
I can't thank you enough for taking care of me this entire time.
Oh, this rug here is quite something.
Ah, here you are. Finally, I found you.
Hey! Aren't you that mercenary who bit his tongue? Wait, are you here to take revenge?
What are you talking about? Do I look like I could take you all to a fight? I just came here to give you something. I'll be on my way to give my... Once I woke up, I hurried to the Khan al-Ahmar's camp, hoping to alert them to your presence. But when I got there, I found no one except the members who were still...
Ah, so you probably got there.
Yeah, they told me that they had exacted their revenge, and everyone had turned themselves in to the authorities. Even that last camp was not going to last for much longer. I had joined the cause to repay an old favor from Kusela. Now that everyone's already turned themselves in, one of the injured members gave this box to me, and told me that it contained some of the old man's last possessions. Everything left in the camp will get confiscated, so I figured I should get this to you before the Corps could get their hands on it.
Thank you.
No worries. We are all just living our own truths. There's no need to comment or judge anyone for it.
So this box contains everything that Dia's father left behind.
Well, back in the... But let's see what's this? It's just a bunch of junk.
Perhaps it's just been left unopened for...
A handwritten copy of a storybook. The paper's already yellowed, and it looks like it's about... It was against the Academia's rules to possess books for personal use. If he was going to break that rule, he could have at least copied something useful.
That probably means this was really important to him.
And here are a few bags of children's snacks. The packaging's...
Did he get those for you?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even when I was a child, I was never a fan of these kinds of snacks. He'd always say that he got them for me, but in the end, who even leaves snacks in a box like this anyway? Forget it. Let me see what else is in here. A razor, some buttons, a wool scarf, which from the looks of it probably belonged to a woman, and a hair clip? Why are these things here? I'm sorry, my lady, but this is just the kind of man he was. He probably... two empty liquor bottles. Tell me, you guys, are these the kinds of things that a normal person would leave behind?
Huh? There's something in the bottle!
Oh, you're right. All right, I got it out. It seems to be a piece of paper with some writing on it. The bottom part's all damaged from moisture, though. Let's hope the writing didn't smudge. I was suddenly seized with an urge to write a letter after finishing this bottle. I just folded it up and left it in the bottle, though. If I end up forgetting about it, it won't really matter. To Dia. It's a letter from me? It's all right. I'll just read it out. If he went to the trouble of writing a letter, there must have been some important things that he wanted to say. Or at least...
My condition's becoming worse and worse. Can't even walk without a cane anymore, much less go out and have fun. Guess I don't have many days left. If you're reading this letter, then I suppose I'm already long gone. You were adorable as a baby. Everyone loved you. And regardless of whether you were crying or laughing, everyone enjoyed having you in the group. But once you grew a bit older, you were no longer nearly as happy or cute. It's probably Idrisi's fault. He was never up to any good.
Can you believe this guy? He can point the finger at himself.
Anyway, back to the point. To summarize, I'm writing this so you would know not to feel sad for me, even if you end up finding out the truth. The reason being that... I was never your father to begin with.
Wait, what?
Surely, he must be joking, right?
I don't know.
I was quite formidable when I was young, and 100 times cooler than some so-called flame main. Really felt like the whole world was under my feet. With just a teeny tiny bit of effort, I felt I could rule over the entire desert. But as fate would have it, I went out into the desert for a drink one day, and discovered a baby in the sands. It was you. You were just lying there, small and helpless. You were so tiny that if the wind blew for just a little while longer, you would have been buried forever. But your cries were so loud they made my head hurt. Now that I think of it, you really were a bundle of energy.
Sounds like he's serious.
I told Idrisi and the others that I had slipped up with a woman while out and about. None of them even doubted me. I'm sorry that I had to lie to them for so long, but I really had no other choice. I was their most esteemed leader, after all. It's not like I could just tell them that I suddenly wanted to play at being a father. At this rate, I'll puke up all the liquor I just drank from this bottle. Anyway, Dia, you possess the kind of freedom and kindness that we could only dream of. As far as how you should live your life, That'll be up to you to decide.
That's the end of the letter. In the end, he was still thinking of me as a little child. I suppose, or I would have suffocated under the sand a long time ago.
He was a good father to you. The fact that he wasn't a blood relative doesn't change that.
Yeah. It's just a pity that we had to learn the truth of everything like this.
Do you already have some ideas about the decision that he wanted you to make?
I do. If he first found me alone in the sands, then I want to try my hand at finding the person who abandoned me. I just have one wish. To tell them that there once existed a childish and that only under his care was I able to grow.
If you end up finding any leads, can you share them with us? We go on adventures all the time. Maybe we'll be able to find some information for you.
Sure, I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting you to be so enthusiastic.
I'll help too.
Thank you. All of you. My life has certainly had its twists and turns, but I've always considered because no matter where I've gone, I've always been surrounded by